In today's fast-paced world, we often find ourselves caught in a whirlwind of stress, anxiety, and unfulfilled desires. But what if I told you that the path to peace and true happiness lies not in acquiring more, but in letting go of what weighs us down? The teachings of Buddha offer profound insights into how we can find inner peace, break free from suffering, and live a life of contentment. Let's explore how Buddha's wisdom can help us transform our lives and find true freedom. Understanding Buddha's path to freedom. Buddha's journey to enlightenment was not an easy one. Born as Siddhartha Gautama, a prince destined for greatness, he lived a life of luxury and comfort. However, the more he explored the world beyond the palace, the more he realized that wealth, power, and pleasure could not shield him from the inevitable suffering of life: old age, sickness, and death. This realization led him to seek a deeper truth, a path that would free him from the cycle of suffering. Buddha's teachings are rooted in the understanding that suffering is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to define us. Through his teachings, we learn to overcome suffering by changing the way we relate to ourselves and the world around us. The Four Noble Truths, the foundation of Buddha's teachings. At the core of Buddha's teachings are the Four Noble Truths. These truths explain the nature of suffering and how to overcome it. Let's break them down. Suffering is an inevitable part of life. Buddha teaches us that suffering exists in all aspects of life. Whether it's physical pain, emotional anguish, or the frustration of unmet desires, suffering is inescapable. However, recognizing this truth is the first step toward liberation. The cause of suffering is attachment. Buddha teaches that our suffering arises from attachment, our desire for things to remain as they are. We cling to material possessions, relationships, and even our sense of self, believing that these things will bring us lasting happiness. But everything in life is impermanent, and when we attach ourselves to things that are constantly changing, we experience suffering. Suffering can be overcome. The third noble truth reveals that it is possible to end suffering. By letting go of our attachments, we free ourselves from the grip of desire, fear, and craving. When we release these burdens, we can experience a deep sense of peace and contentment. The path to ending suffering is the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path offers practical guidance on how to live a life free from suffering. It consists of right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. This path is a roadmap to inner peace, helping us align our thoughts, actions, and intentions with wisdom and compassion. The role of letting go in Buddha's teachings. One of the most powerful aspects of Buddha's teachings is the emphasis on letting go. Whether it's letting go of our attachment to material possessions, our need for control, or even our ego, letting go is essential for finding peace. When we let go, we stop clinging to things that are temporary and uncertain. We stop striving for things that don't lead to lasting happiness. Instead, we embrace the present moment and accept life as it is, without judgment or resistance. Letting go is not about giving up on life or becoming passive. It's about recognizing that our attachments are the source of our suffering and choosing to release them so that we can live more fully in the present. It's about cultivating a mindset of freedom and acceptance, allowing us to experience life's impermanence with grace. How letting go leads to true freedom. Letting go is a path to freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from regret, and freedom from the endless cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. When we let go of our attachments, we free ourselves from the need to control everything and everyone around us. We stop chasing after things that bring momentary pleasure but ultimately leave us feeling empty. True freedom comes when we stop relying on external circumstances to define our happiness. We learn to cultivate inner peace, to be content with what we have, and to embrace each moment as it comes. In this way, letting go leads to a deeper sense of fulfillment and joy. Practical steps for letting go. You might be wondering, how do I begin the process of letting go in my own life? Here are some practical steps inspired by Buddhist teachings. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is the art of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When we are mindful, we are able to observe our thoughts and feelings without becoming attached to them. This helps us recognize the impermanence of all things, making it easier to let go of attachments. Embrace impermanence. Buddha teaches that everything in life is impermanent. Nothing lasts forever. When we accept the truth of impermanence, we can stop clinging to things that are fleeting. Instead, we appreciate them for what they are in the present moment. Cultivate compassion. Letting go also involves letting go of negative emotions like anger, resentment, and jealousy. By cultivating compassion for ourselves and others, we begin to release these harmful emotions and make space for love, kindness, and understanding. Release the need for control. Many of us struggle with the need to control everything in our lives. Whether it's controlling the outcomes of our actions or trying to manage how others perceive us, this need for control can lead to stress and frustration. Buddha teaches us to trust the flow of life and let go of the need to control everything. Let go of the ego. The ego is often the root of our suffering. When we identify too strongly with our sense of self, we become attached to it and try to protect it at all costs. Letting go of the ego allows us to connect with a deeper sense of who we are beyond the labels and identities we've created for ourselves. The liberation of the mind. When we practice letting go, we experience liberation of the mind. We stop being slaves to our thoughts and emotions, and instead, we become the masters of our minds. This mental liberation allows us to experience life with greater clarity, peace, and joy. Buddha's teachings offer a powerful roadmap to mental freedom. By letting go of our attachments and embracing the present moment, we can transcend the cycles of suffering and live a life of true contentment. It's not about avoiding challenges or escaping from difficulties. It's about facing them with wisdom, compassion, and equanimity. The wisdom of non-attachment. Buddha's wisdom on non-attachment is one of the most profound aspects of his teachings. Non-attachment doesn't mean indifference or detachment from life. Rather, it means engaging with life fully and wholeheartedly while not clinging to any particular outcome. Non-attachment is the recognition that nothing in life is permanent and that clinging to things only causes suffering. It is the art of enjoying life without becoming overly attached to it, the ability to love deeply without holding on too tightly, and the capacity to find peace even in the face of uncertainty. Conclusion: the path to true freedom. Buddha's teachings on letting go and non-attachment offer a path to true freedom. By releasing our attachments, we open ourselves up to a life of greater peace, joy, and fulfillment. The path to enlightenment is not a distant dream. It is a practical, everyday journey that begins with the simple act of letting go. In a world that constantly urges us to acquire more, achieve more, and control more, Buddha's teachings remind us that true happiness lies not in accumulation, but in liberation. Let go of what no longer serves you. Embrace the impermanence of life and live each moment with mindfulness and compassion. This is the path to true freedom.